The storm that rolled through Wheatland last night caused some serious damage and even caused some injuries. This happened at an RV park near Lucas Oil Speedway. According to Carolyn Ream from the Hickory County Office of Emergency Management, around 11 p.m., several people were trapped inside an RV after it was blown over on its side. Multiple people were injured, some of them severely, and were taken to a hospital.
Lucas Oil rescheduled the race to actually be in Reno, Nevada, and they changed that race into a doubleheader. Even though the race still got canceled, it gives more time for my wrist to heal. My wrist actually ended up being fractured, and they scheduled me a surgery. You know, here I am now. I had a cast on for about a month, and I had to wear a brace for at least a couple weeks.
All right, guys, be careful, huh?
Yep.
Have a good time. Hey,
I'll send you
we're
video.
working on the new brakes. Check, make sure everything's working good, and get a feel for the track, huh?
All right.
All right. Try some stuff.
See ya.
All right, guys.
I'll call you.
I'll try and make it.
Okay. Getting my driver's license, it feels super good. I finally get to drive to the track, finally get to drop off the truck, like at the shop, and pick up parts and stuff. So that's been pretty good, and it's really helped out the crew as well, so they don't have to drive everywhere. I ended up failing my first driver's test, actually. Being a race car driver and failing a driver's test is not really fun to do, but hey, now I got it, and I passed, and I'm driving.
Ricky, you should really pay attention to the road.
Going at the Glen Helen, we actually went out there just to get some seat time in, and I actually added the new handbrake into my truck. So that was something definitely that was gonna be a challenge to get used to. You know, I haven't driven in a month now, so. I was gonna take this off, but.
No, leave that thing on.
Leave that thing on, dude.
I really felt rusty. I wasn't having fun for a little bit, and I was definitely making a lot of mistakes. And Troy would make me turn around and try it again, and turn around and try it again. Every time I'd make a mistake, I would turn around and try that turn again. It was good laps. It was good laps to get in, especially, you know, being gone for so long.
Start thinking too much. There's no bueno.
Even that last time, when you came in that hot, if you would have just thrown it sideways and on the gas, you would have been fine.
But I mean, you gotta think about it. That's how I look at it. Brian's going in there, I'm gonna tell him to send it. Right? And whatever he does or however he gotta figure out to get to the corner, he's gotta figure it out. So if you don't at least match that and start again figuring it out, and I get it. Easier said to do it outside the car than in. I get that. But you gotta think that's what's gonna be the next level to get you that top 5 on podium winning. But only one that can do it is you. Only one that can believe in yourself is you. If you wire the truck up, who cares? That's why they pay him. I can fix it. That's why he's at the shop. Clean the truck. I mean, at the end of the day, we ain't gonna get no better. You just gotta you gotta push yourself. And I know it's scary. And I know it's uncomfortable. But racing ain't comfortable. So if it's wanna be comfortable, we do what? Get out of the sport. Let's get uncomfortable. Let's get uncomfortable.
You know, I don't want to make any excuses, and I do need to send it harder, and I do need to drive harder and harder and harder every race. So, yeah, you know, he was right. I got an email from Lucas Oil and Western Nevada Supply asking if I would like to come and show the truck off and represent Lucas Oil and talk to people about the race that's going to happen this weekend. You know, we have 10 tickets we're going to give away as well. So, I mean, it was good. It was good to go down there and check it out. The Boys and Girls Club ended up coming down. I ended up meeting some of them and taking pictures, signing autographs. The location of the track in Reno is so different than any other track we've ever been to. Like, it's in a rock quarry in the middle of nowhere. The track is like nuts, man. It's high speeds, tight corners, and it makes really good racing there too. time I went out on the track, my plan was basically to just keep driving harder and harder and harder, you know? It's a very tough track to keep up with and be fast on. And driving aggressive is one thing you have to do there. Right when we got in and I pulled the truck in underneath the canopy, it just started dumping rain, like dumping hard. We just all started rushing everywhere, closing the windows. It was just water everywhere in the whole pit. It was gnarly. Right when I woke up, the weather was actually really nice. It was super hot outside. When I looked at my phone, it said there was going to be rain today. And it was during the time of qualifying.
Yesterday we actually had lightning strikes about a mile from where we are, and there were lightning strikes in the clouds, which is kind of tricky because those will transfer and then they'll come down in weird places. So
we kind of had to wait it out and see how the day goes on. So it ended up raining pretty hard and qualifying was eventually canceled. I waited around all day. I didn't even get to go in my truck. You know, sitting around and waiting that long, it just sucks. With all the rain that was dumping down on the track, I knew it was definitely going to change up the track. Definitely add a little challenge to it as well. Green flag drops. I'm on the inside of the trucks. I'm dooring people. Coming out of turn 3, going up the hill, and the truck just completely dies off. Tried to start my truck up again, but it wouldn't start. They ended up towing me back into the hot pits. You know, stressed out, and we were kind of angry, but we had to figure out what was wrong with the truck so I can get back out there and get points. We ended up checking all the breakers on the truck, and one of them was actually popped out. So right when we popped that breaker back in, the truck started right back up, and I went back out on the track. Coming into the first corner on the last lap, I threw it in there, and the truck just picked up right away and got on a gnarly bike. It was gnarly, you know, my door was rubbing on the dirt, and I don't even know how I saved it. It was definitely a little scary. I really didn't want to roll the truck and crash. Coming back from a race like that, it was really disappointing. I ended up being a total 3 laps down. You know, it didn't go our way. You know, I had to keep a good attitude, you know, and there's always tomorrow. You know, that's why it's a doubleheader, and we'll get them on Saturday. Track actually looked pretty good, you know. There was still moisture in it, which is good, but it did look like it was gonna dry out soon. I felt great, you know. I wasn't even driving like yesterday was a problem. Truck was running good. My times were running pretty good as well. My lines were on point. On the second lap, going into the last corner, Brandon and Arthur spun out in front of me. As soon as I got in the brakes, it just went straight to the floor panel. No brakes, no slowing down at all. And I just hit Brandon like so fast and bam, right into the side of him. Definitely hurt. You know, I was holding my breath pretty long before that crash. And As soon as I got back on the radio, it was just like a sigh of relief, like, I'm okay, everything's fine. The truck was pretty messed up, coming in, and I know my crew just saw it and they were just like, "Oh, you kidding me?" And especially the brake pedal too. We had to figure that out. It was up to my seat, like sitting in my lap. They definitely had a lot of work to do before the race. Thank God we were the last race, so they had a lot of time to be able to get the truck back together.
All right, hey, smart. Pick them off one at a time. You got it, man.
Yeah.
Same thing like we went out for qualifying. Same aggressiveness, same. Hit your lines, dude. Hit your spots. Listen to Corey. We got you, dude. You're good. Hey, most important, breathe, have fun. All right?
Yep. You never know with these races, if it's going to be your best race or if it's going to be your worst race, In racing, you always have to have luck. Driving is a huge part of it, but you also need luck. And I felt good. I felt like I had the right equipment on my truck. I felt like tonight was my night to be in the game. I was doing a lot of trucks and we were just battling, and I'm in the game, I'm in 5th and 6th, with RJ Anderson, Brandon Arthur, Brian Deegan, and my driving style really came out that night. I'm aggressive. What I noticed was a lot of trucks were, falling back and making mistakes, and it was all about just waiting for the right moment to, make the pass. Once we got the halfway point, the truck started overheating pretty bad. It was just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. There was only 2 laps to go. We're going into the first corner, and as soon as I set up the truck and I'm exiting the corner, the oil light comes on red, and I'm like, oh shit. I look at the oil pressure and it says straight 0, so I ended up pulling off the track and shutting the truck completely off. I turned it back on. I cranked for oil pressure, see if it was just a breaker or anything as well, and it ended up being the motor ended up blowing up, and that was the end of my night. It really was just a disappointing moment. I really did think I had a chance at the podium spot, especially with running so good. I was in 4th and 5th, like it was super sick. I was battling with Brian Deegan, I was battling with RJ, all the top guys, I look up to as well. This one was definitely a tough one to swallow. It always comes down to only if my motor didn't blow up, only if I didn't get crashed out, But, these things happen. You can't really judge what happens, Looking up there, I was right there in the pack, and it sucked. It really sucked. My last words. I could back up anything. Well, clearly I can't.
I let him drive it one time.